Hi, thanks for watching. I was having a chat with Sandy last night and we were talking about a new moon, and I told her that a couple of nights ago it was nowhere to be found. And she asked why, and I told her because it was a new moon, and a new moon means there's no moon. So when Sandy says, "Where is it now?" I picked up my phone where I've got an app and I had a look. And this is the app here. It's called Star Tracker, and it's actually calibrated to your location. So although it's not perfect, it gives you a good idea of what's supposed to be in the sky. So I had a look and it was showing me, right, there's a sun way beyond the horizon, and then up here we've got the moon with Venus right next to it and Mars not far away. Right, so I had a look at the back door and sure enough, there it was. And I went and got my camera. And it's a beautiful blue sky, but as you see when you zoom in with the camera, it totally darkens it, and it could be night time. Right, so while Venus is there, let's go down and take a quick look. It's extremely bright, so you don't see a lot of detail on it, and I had absolutely no time because this is between clouds and I'd have lost the shot. But I did take the brightness down a bit, and you can see the motions on the surface of Venus, much like the other lights in the sky. They pretty much all behave the same way. And that's it in manual focus. And this is the same light in autofocus. And again, it's a bit bright. So I've done the same with this footage, and I took a lot of the brightness away, and I also slowed it down a bit so you can see more of the detail. And if you don't see liquid here somewhere, you're not watching. Right. So, sorry for that. That was just force of habit. So let's get back to the moon. Right, so I'll start here. Earth sky. 4 ways to understanding the moon phases. And I won't be reading all this, but I'll pause it and you can read it at your leisure. Just a couple of things I'd like to point out. Right, like when you see the moon, think about the whereabouts of the sun. After all, it's the sun's illuminating and creating the day side of the moon. The fact the moon phases depend on where the moon is in respect of the sun and space. Right? But don't just take our word for it. Go outside, no matter what phase of the moon you see in your sky, think about where the sun is. It helps you begin to understand why the moon you see in that particular phase. So bear that in mind. Right, so there's a couple of graphics here. And the new moon between the Earth and the Sun. So they're saying we don't see it because it's in shadow. But if the moon is between the Earth and the Sun, is that not an eclipse? Just saying. Right. Another graphic showing you where you see the full moon. So these don't make sense. Right. But there's the bit I was going to read. Right. Although the moon rises in the east and sets in the west each day, that is due to the Earth's spin, apparently, it's also moving on the sky's dome each day. That's interesting. Right. And again it says, oh, and by the way, the moon's own orbital motion can be detected in the course of a single night. But you have to watch the moon closely with respect to the stars in its vicinity over several hours. So I remember when I was younger, we actually were taught that the moon did have its own motion. It actually rotated. That's what we were told. Right. NASA science, Earth's moon. So, you got yourself. And like Earth, the moon has a day side and a night side, which changes as the moon rotates. The sun always illuminates half of the moon while the other half remains dark. But how much we are able to see of that illuminated half changes as the moon travels through its orbit. So it rotates, it orbits. Right, so let's check this out. And this shows you as the phases appear. So this is from NASA. The moon's unilluminated side is facing the Earth. The moon is not visible, then in brackets, except during a solar eclipse. I think I mentioned that earlier. So what they're saying is that this is the new moon, but we can't see it. You can see the rest of it, but once it becomes a new moon, it becomes invisible. And that's not my words, by the way. That's theirs. The new moon from NASA. This is the invisible phase of the moon. So, you read the rest of it yourself, but right. So they actually call it invisible face of the moon. Right. So they've even had to cover this because in the last several years the amount of people that have put up videos with the daytime moon. So NASA have jumped on the board and they've said here, though the moon is often thought of as a nighttime visitor, really? It's also visible during the day as a faint, pale presence. The best time to see a daytime moon are perhaps during the first and last quarter phases, where the moon is high enough above the horizon and about 90 degrees from the sun in the sky. The cells make the sun's reflected light bright enough to see it reflect off of the moon. The moon can be seen in the daylit sky at any phase except for a new moon, when it's invisible to us, and the full moon when it's below the horizon during the day. The crescent through quarter phases are high in the sky during the day, but the daytime gibbous phases can be glimpsed only just before the sun sets. Right. This is 4 days after a new moon. Well, it's pretty visible to me. And you can see quite a lot of detail for something that's barely visible. Right. But that's not my question with this. This clip is the question is, where's the other bit of the moon? If that's a shadow, why don't we see it? Why don't we see the bit that's missing? Let me show you what we should see.
You held it in your hands. I had flashes, but you saw the plan. I wandered out in the world for years, while you just stayed in your room. I saw the crescent. You saw the whole of the moon. The whole of the moon. You were there in the turnstiles with the wind at your heels. You struck for the stars. You know how it feels to get too high, too far, too soon. You saw the whole of the moon. I was grounded while you filled the skies. I was dumbfounded by truth. You cut to life. I saw the rain-dirty valley. You saw Brigadoon. I saw the crescent. You saw the whole of the moon. I spoke about wings. You just flew. I wondered and I guessed and I tried. You just knew. I sighed. But you swooned. I saw the crescent. You saw the whole of the moon. Woo! The whole of the moon. With a torch in your pocket and the wind at your heels, you climbed on the ladder, and you know how it feels to get too high, too far, too soon. You saw the whole of the moon. The whole of the moon. Hey, yeah. Unicorns and cannibals, policies and tears. Trumpets, towers and settlements, wide oceans full of tears. Flags, rags, ferry boats, saddlebags and scars. Every precious dream and vision underneath the stars. Yes, you climbed on the ladder with the wind in your sails. You came like a comet, blazing your trail. Too high, too far, too soon. You saw the whole.
Or, is it like NASA say, this is the invisible phase of the moon? Yet, when they say that, they show this. That'll look invisible. Let's see how they explain the tides on a globe. Right, the moon and Earth exert a gravitational pull on each other. On Earth, the moon's gravitational pull causes the oceans to bulge out on both the side closest to the moon and the side farthest from the moon. These bulges create tides. The low points are where low tides occur. The moon's gravitational pull on Earth, combined with other tangential forces, causes Earth's water to be redistributed, ultimately creating bulges of water on the side closest to the moon and the side farthest to the moon. Okay, we get it. Right. Earth's tidal bulges don't line up exactly with the moon's position because the moon is orbiting in the same direction as the Earth rotates. It takes extra time for any point on our planet to rotate and reach exactly below the moon. This means that the high tide bulges are never directly lined up with the moon, but a little ahead of it. I thought gravity worked like magnetism or something, but let's see what they say. Right, so here's their cartoons, right? So this is the North Pole here. So this is the equator. And this is what they say happens. Right? So I've never understood how they can explain, right, okay, this is the gravitational pull with both of them, but what's this all about? Where's that getting pulled? What's that? And this is also a good explanation to anybody who thinks they live on the ball. This is what would happen if you built a big tower. It would go upside down and it got to the bottom. Right, and again, this is the tides following the moon. And sometimes the sun gets involved. And this is the lag when the Earth is trying to catch up with the moon or something, right? Another trustworthy source, the BBC Sky at Night, right? And let's see there, but they're showing you, and they say, let's talk gravity, and more specifically, the gravitational interactions between planet Earth and our moon. They say the gravitational pull of the moon hauls up Earth's oceans into two bulges on opposite sides of the planet. But that's not what they show you. With these direction arrows, it's suggesting that this water is getting pulled in this direction. So if that being the case, how can it cause a bulge in that direction? What else should I say on this page? Aye. As Earth rotates beneath these twin bulges, sea levels along the coastlines rise and fall, creating the tides. As Earth rotates beneath these twin bulges, so they say the atmosphere goes with the spin, right? So we've got the atmosphere going with the spin, but the water is different. The Earth rotates beneath the water, because that's what these twin bulges are, the water. Right, what else have we got here? Oh, this is another graphic, and this again, looking down, this is the North Pole, and what they're saying is what's causing the bulges is Earth gets squeezed at the equator. Really? So this is another showing you, this is a new moon or the invisible moon, and this is a full moon, and they both exert the same forces. Right? And right. During a full or new moons, which occur when the Earth, Sun and Moon are nearly in alignment, average tidal ranges are slightly larger. Right. This occurs twice each lunar month, about 29.5 days on average. The moon appears new, dark, or replace the word dark when visible, when it is between Earth and the Sun, and the moon appears full when the Earth between the moon. Either way, they're saying that these bulges happen on both sides of the planet at the same time. Right, so where are there no tides? Some bodies of water, the Mediterranean, Baltic, Black Sea, Caspian Sea, Caribbean, don't respond strongly to tidal forces. The reasons for this are a bit complex. Well, too much for me, obviously. But basically it is due to their size and geographic nature. These areas are described as non-tidal. No shit. So it's really complex. So other parts of the world that have no tide, Tahiti, Polynesian Islands in the South Pacific. And they forgot to add the Great Lakes in North America and Canada. Oh, aye, Loch Lomond as well. Well, thanks for watching. Please comment.